Give life lessons.
I often get randomizer lessons when I do commentary from my co-commentator, so I suspect
are underway.
This is going to be no different. Just a big 20 here in the first chest as the players are off. Map check immediately. Blue pendant and Eastern, and that's all I saw. Man, Ben is so fast with that.
I was getting some stuff set up on my screen, so I missed it.
Ben's got the sign over his head ready to pick up a kill so that he can give the tree a good old pull, see what comes out. Hearts.
Just hearts. Basically the worst pull you can get. It's like
Players
I can't really think of a worse pull.
Yeah, even like green rupees would still be 4 rupees. Not bad.
I mean, magic is better than that.
Arrows, maybe.
Fairies are better than that.
Still just rupees early on here after the first couple of things checked. Players seem to have kind of settled on checking these 2 chests at the start of Escape and then going to Sanctuary and then over to Kakariko.
Yeah, that seems to be sort of the meta route. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, but I'm 0-4 in the secondary tournament, so what do I know?
Oh, well, it looks like we are going to have a divergence, though. Cransoon is going right, Ben is going left.
Yep, Cransoon going to go pick up a bunch of rupees, it looks like.
Yeah, this is to get into the Chris Houlihan room. Pretty sure it's a weird room in the game with some coding in it that's basically like, if at any point the game tries to put you somewhere where it doesn't quite know where to put you, then it'll put you in the Chris Houlihan room instead. And so there we go. Cransoon's got it.
Yep.
It's done in this case by jumping off the cliff in a weird way to kind of like move the camera in just such a way as the camera freaks out, and here we are. So a bunch of rupees for Cransoon.
It changes the reference for the destination of that hole ever so slightly to a reference that's undefined by the game, and therefore, there you go.
And if you're wondering where that ridiculous name comes from, there was a contest for someone to get their name in the game, I believe. So if you read the block in that room, it'll give a little shout out to A1 Chris Houlihan.
Though, in the randomizer, you know who it gives a shout out to?
No, actually, I don't. I knew they were going to change it, but I don't know who.
It gives a shout out to our left side runner, Mr. ajneb174, as the previous tournament champion.
Oh, that's awesome. So Cransoon using his opponent's power against him. And yes, that is a totally legal glitch. This is no glitches are required by the logic. It's not going to require you to do these things. But under the no major glitches rule set that we're using for this tournament, there are minor glitches allowed that include things like the Houlihan room, spin speed, fake flippers, and maybe we'll see some of that. So we'll talk about it when it comes up. But for now,
bomb jumps, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Cransoon. On Cransoon's screen, we notice that fans of the Blue Boomerang will be disappointed, as it is going to remain on the shelf, likely for the entirety of this run.
Ben's got no bombs, so he's not able to bomb open and check out that one last location in Blind's Hut, whereas Cransoon's routed over to the bomb shop right away, so he's got some, and that's not going to be a problem for him.
Yeah. So that's the upside to doing the Houlihan route is you can come down, you can do a couple of bombs, you can farm a couple of bombs in some bushes, and then you can buy some bombs on the way in, and then route your way up Kakariko Village.
So I think Ben was hoping to find some bombs in some of these locations, and he's just not getting it. So another unchecked location in Kakariko well for him at this point.
And he doesn't have money for the bottle vendor, who has the half magic today.
That is that's going to be pretty
Super
important,
nice.
Especially swordless at this point. It's very often the first thing you find that you can fight with is something like a Keen of Samaria or a Fire Rod, something that needs magic to work off of, and so have that half magic upgrade is going to give you a lot more bang for your buck, if that tends to be the case with this seed. So Crystal 7 in Desert and Pendant, Green Pendant for Tower of Hera. So lots of Light World pendants today.
Light World pendants may mean that there's not generally a whole lot of requirements for those pendants. So that kind of leaves a lot of the possibilities for everybody's favorite location open.
That's right. The pedestal in the Lost Woods that normally has the Master Sword, the one that requires you to have all the pendants that you usually collect from Light World dungeons. It doesn't always have the Master Sword. Very frequently does not have the Master Sword in Randomizer. It's a random location. And boy, is it fun when it has something you do need, though. Ben is at 97 rupees, just a little more for that bottle vendor. But maybe he wants to prioritize. Oh, he's already got the bombs, so yeah, just so close, but passing right by the bottle vendor.
Yeah, well, he can get 30 rupees out of this upper room that he hasn't been to yet, and then he can go down and grab it.
That works out very nicely for Ben. As Cransoon heading to the Lost Woods to see some of these locations. Doesn't want to pick up a meager 5 rupees.
I don't believe that Ben checked the Anxiety Cave, the Lumberjack Cave that's only accessible after you defeat ajneb1.
I've never heard Anxiety Cave before, but I think I get it. It's normally something you don't need to worry about at all. Very rarely is there something that you need up there. But if there is something you need to commit a ton of time to complete ajneb's tower in order to get it.
Just a red rupee there, big 20, 2 hams, as they say, in that cave, so nothing there. Oh, and Ben did check it. I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Houlihan room at the time. Ben's going to be the first one into the dam. He's ahead on, checking locations and making his way around the overworld, but Cransoon's ahead in things like the rupee count.
Yep, so both of our players have checked at this moment, minus the dam, the exact same items.
It's always nice to see, especially when you see a divergence early on. You're like, oh, great, now we're going to have to keep track of who's checked what, but for our sake, it's pretty narrow path.
Yeah, it was a pretty minor divergence.
Ben's going to be the first one into Mini Moldorm Cave. Has 5 bombs. See how many it takes to clear these things out. The ones on the left, looks like they're grouping up. Nice.
Excellent. So yeah, it's a little tricky to pull that off, though. I'm guessing that some of that was, the bomb throwing, might have been the developer intended way to do this, or with Bo.
Bombs, I think, make sense. It's accessible so early in the game.
I do not believe the walking along the path at the bottom of the holes was intended by the developers.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I think that was a bit of an oversight. If you have a sword or some other melee option, you can just walk over there. But yeah, Mini Moldorm Cave coming up totally empty for both players.
Just a whole lot of garbage in all of the major opening locations. I mean, Kakariko had diddly. I mean, it had the blue mail and a couple of shields.
Yeah, seeing 2 shield upgrades before any sort of progression items.
Bombs and ice rod.
Man, they're running out of places for this next progression item to be.
They've still got all of Escape and the Eastern Sahasrara play, and of course Agnes Cave.
I've seen Agnes Cave recently with some key items that you really very rarely see, and I think it makes for a pretty fun seed when something is there. So that's what I'm rooting for.
Nice. Yeah, like Agnes Cave tends to have one player check it at early and one player check it late, so you can have that whole drama going on if it doesn't work out.
So Ben's opted for the fake flippers route through Lake Hylia. Gonna go check out the hobo, say hello, whereas Cransoon says, "Oh, lamp." So this is a sequence break here. The logic will not put something here that you need to get before you should have the flippers. But Ben's done this fake flippers technique, so it's kind of jumped ahead in the logic with this lamp now.
So we're thinking, there it is. I was going to say, we're thinking flippers are going to happen pretty soon. Yep.
Cransoon, however, if he were to follow the same thing that Ben just did, it's a little nicer because you can jump back into the water, maybe check out Waterfall Cave. Zora, not quite an option yet. They're a little shy of the 500 rupees, but there's the Zora ledge.
Yeah. Cransoon, if he finds the bow here in Eastern Palace, might have a little bit harder time than Ben, because Ben will be able to see.
That's right. This is a Light World dungeon with a couple of dark rooms where the lamp is required by the logic, but you can still, fumble your way through if you know the rooms. Some of them are easier than others by far. If they do need to go to Armos, the dark rooms you need to get through on the way there, I find those ones are pretty hard.
Yeah, they're brutal, pretty much. It's all about finding that Igor on the right and dispatching it before it runs you over, and then you lose track of him.
Not to mention, dispatching it at this point would have to be done with bombs, I guess. They don't really have anything to fight with.
Well, you'd use the bow.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't be in there unless you had the bow. There you go.
Yeah. There's the big key. So we found one of the 3 items here in Eastern Palace so far. One of the great things to know as you're doing Randomizer is exactly how many items there are in every dungeon you go into, so you know when you're missing something. And a lot of people nowadays will just kind of take that for granted, but if somebody's brand new to Randomizer, that's one of the first things you should learn, is how many items that you can expect to find.
Yep, it can inform your decision making once you start opening some of these chests up. Sometimes 100%, this, if you don't need to fight the boss for a crystal, like it's a pendant and you're pretty sure you don't need the pendant, you can sometimes determine that the boss is holding like the map or the compass, in which case you have no reason to fight them or finish the dungeon. You can save a ton of time.
Now in this case, we've just picked up both the map and the compass, so we know that Armos is holding something. We don't know what. And it may come back to haunt us later on.
Yep, this is bad news for the players unless they suddenly find the bow. That would be fortuitous. We're seeing Cransoon in the first dark room.
Yeah, so these are swordless dark rooms, which is pretty impressive. Because usually you can hold out the sword, it creates little sparks to see where you are. But without the sword, you can't see diddly squat.
Cransoon, I think, made pretty good time through that room.
Yeah.
It can be hard to tell as a commentator, but
No, that was about as fast as I've ever seen it done.
Ooh, down to 1 heart. Has just enough. Ooh, finds
book!
the book! Wow, the Eastern Palace play is paying off for both players. Assuming, well, Ben has the lantern, so he's going to have no problem with these dark rooms.
Yeah. So if Cransoon does the water play at some point, he'll be able to fix his sequence break and know that this is fine. It looks like he'll be doing that.
Oh, that's good news, because with the book and the lamp, that might lead them over to Desert Palace. No boots, so if something is up on that one torch, they won't be able to get it. And sometimes if it's a small key, big key, you can get stuck there, but maybe it's not, and maybe that is a completable palace for these players.
Yeah, Desert Palace has, according to my calculations, an 11 out of 36 chance. No, I did the math wrong. Sorry. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
That mathematician behind the curtain. You got it wrong. So sure enough, Ben is heading over to Desert Palace. Cransoon with the flippers, though, is swimming back from Hobo. Doesn't have to save and quit. So we're going to see another divergence here as Cransoon is going to enter the whirlpool and start checking some of these locations near Zora's domain.
It's 3 out of 7. 3 out of 7 chance of desert being boots locked.
Ooh. Got ourselves a power glove in the waterfall cave. Cransoon, this is very fortunate for him. That is a big lead over Ben. Power glove useful in all kinds of places. Also, you do need that, I'm pretty sure, to beat Desert Palace. So incorrect what I said before, in addition to the boots lock situation.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ben is heading in there. Also, 3 out of 7's wrong too. I'm just gonna stop doing math.
We're up to one mistake each. I think I've probably said more things wrong than that already.
I'm gonna stop doing math before right after I wake up.
It's a bad idea to do math on stream as well. Just you're asking for trouble. So Power Glove is going to lead Cransoon over to the back half of Escape. Going to check these 3 chests behind the cracked wall.
Now, if you get the key back here, you can head into the south part.
There's a key along with the red mail. I missed what was in that first chest for Ben.
Yeah, I thought it was something.
Small key on the torch, so Desert Palace is indeed boots locked. So boots going to be required for this completion. So Cransoon has the Power Glove, but does not have the boots, and is going to be getting into a similar situation over in Desert Palace as Ben just did. And Ben is now doing what Cransoon did, taking the whirlpool over to the cave and finding these Power Gloves. So once again, after a small divergence, the players have once again kind of synced up here.
Yep. That's always a good thing to check these dungeons early on when you got the chance. The book opening up this particular part of the world, you kind of wish that both of these players had enough rupees to do Zora,
Yeah, at this point I can't help but wonder, is that where their next progression item is? Because it's not in Desert.
Well, neither of them have done the front part of Escape, so there is that.
Also, with Glove and Lantern, that can get you up Death Mountain, right?
Yep. So Death Mountain is live. Though just the first 2 items are accessible at the moment. Okay, it was just bombs in that first chest.
Ben heading into some of the rest of Escape here.
So Ben will be doing a room here that Cransoon skipped.
Oh, because Ben has the boomerang, and I think maybe Cransoon didn't want to try to bomb the key rat in the dark.
Oh, well, he's got the lamp now.
Alright, but still landing that bomb is not fun.
Yeah. Of note, neither player has a sword yet, so that's a thing.
I feel like there's a lot of randomizer players who hear the way you say thing and just kind of know exactly what you mean.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. There is a definite meaning to that word. So, Bombos in that chest.
What does it mean?
It means I can blow stuff up.
Alright, so Ben has the power of blowing things up. That's actually not bad when you
can't.
Okay.
Can't use the Bombos without the sword.
Oh, really?
No.
Because you hold it up? It's like part
of... Yeah.
I did not know that. Again, This is commentary. I learn something every day when I do these. Old
Yeah,
man.
no medallion usage without a sword. The only time you can use the medallions without a sword is if you are playing swordless mode and you're on the uh, the tile to enter one of the dungeons that's locked by it. That's it.
So players still gonna have to be making do with this red boomerang. I've done matches before where I talk about like, oh, boomerang, ho ho, they found the boomerang, but like when you don't have the sword, that boomerang can be your best friend. Spectacled Rock coming up dry. Can't get to the east end of Death Mountain and no mirror.
I think we're gonna need to be seeing the descent into the escape area pretty soon.
Yeah, we saw
where
Ben
Cransoon's
dip
going.
his toes a little further into the escape.
Perhaps he's going to purchase more bombs. I'm just guessing here. Yeah, more bombs.
That's 50 more rupees away from Zora, and the odds are increasing that King Zora has the progression item.
Yeah, we may be seeing a mad pot dash to pick up as many rupees as you can.
That's right. Powder Glove lets them farm that one cave sort of near the entrance to Desert. Cransoon's already shown he knows how to do Houlihan. I'm pretty sure Ben does as well. So they have options for grinding those rupees.
I don't know what you have to do to respawn the rupees in Houlihan Cave.
Oh, I never really thought about that. I just assumed
Yeah.
they did.
I think until you like reset the console, they
Weird.
stay gone, and they may just stay gone. Period. I've not tried this.
Don't respawn one time. Confirmed by chat. Thanks for keeping us on the straight and narrow. Ben double-checking library, or perhaps maybe didn't get around to it.
Yeah, it's possible. I think the way Ben routed Kakariko, he just ended up skipping the entire south section because he never went there.
Getting up to 15 bombs, both players recognizing without a sword, this could be a lifeline, really, in the number of bombs they have.
Yeah, you can technically do this area with just 5 bombs. You would need 2 for the first guard, the blue one for this green one coming up, and 2 for the blue in the room to the right. Then you can dispatch the ball and chain guard with just pots.
Thankfully, the pot strat actually pretty quick. I don't know why the pots are so damaging in Hyrule, but they are. Ooh, okay.
Titan's Myth.
What does that even get you in this situation without a
Diddly?
Moon Pearl? Yeah. It had to be. We were like, there's got to be some kind of progression item. There it is, the Titan's Mitts. Wait, not quite.
Nope. We need something here.
Oh, it's gonna be Zora, man. I'm calling it.
So we either need to see Moon Pearl here, or go to Zora. That's what it looks like here.
We could see a.
We could see something like
hook shot or mirror.
Well, we could see something like sword here and then cape at Zora. Oh, that's just the map.
Nothing. That's nothing.
What? Okay, so I guess it's got to be Moon Pearl at Zora.
Well, wouldn't something to get up Death Mountain, right? Yeah, hook shot or mirror.
Hook shot, mirror.
But something. Cransoon's still got more of escape to check.
He's got to go get that Bombos medallion.
So a very limited amount of rupees available in the early game with a required visit to King Zora.
Yeah, I mean, with the latest update to the logic, they added extra 300 rupee items into the pool, and so it just most of the time you see tons of rupees early. It's been a long time since I've seen this sort of play had to be made, but of course, that is how Randomizer works. It can come up pretty much any way you slice it.
So Cransoon getting that Bombos medallion. With that, I think the players are pretty much even on items. And with the save and quits, look how close they are.
We're gonna get some like high five syncage going on here.
Almost. Cransoon was going in for the high five, and instead of the too low, Ben just faded out of existence, save and quit over to Sanctuary. That's pretty fancy
basically
move.
It. Yeah. I think Ben might not have actually done. What is he doing?
Was there something he missed down there? Or
he's doing Houlihan.
Okay. Yes, Cransoon has already done this.
Another Houlihan move.
Nice job, Ben. And Cransoon is going to the one of the best ways of getting repeatable rupees is this one cave here.
All right, so both players will be heading to this rupee room. Cransoon gets there a little earlier and will probably be finishing up right around the time Ben shows up. Maybe a little later.
So we can see that Cransoon does indeed have an early lead. They've done all the same things, they just did it in slightly different order. Sometimes one player had a lamp to help them out, sometimes one player had a boomerang to help them out.
Alright, so Cransoon comes up on 493 rupees.
Not quite hitting that break point.
To finish it off. Meanwhile, Ben will be doing 3 more trips in here. Well, now 2. Because he has 406.
So he is going to be hitting that break point.
Yep. Not sure where the extra rupees came in here or there, but now we know. And Cransoon will be using his flippers to jump into a whirlpool and head up to Zora.
So what's it gonna be, Chad?
Oh.
King Zora's got something, but what's it gonna be?
Let's see.
I think it's hookshot.
Hookshot, you say? I'm gonna say the one that unlocks like the bare minimum of things. I'm gonna say boots.
Oh yeah, that would do it.
Or mirror.
I like boots because I like to think that the randomizer gives you sets of items that all work together to get to your next item. So like the lamp, book, and glove all being available. The boots kind of completes a quadfecta that enables you to finish Desert Palace. And I want that to be where you need to go. Boots, of course, also unlocks things like King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks, but what's it going to be? What's it going to be?
Hookshot!
Oh, called it!
Nailed it.
Thank you very much. So immediately the save and quit. Old Man has been rescued, so we can start in the mountain cave, and we're going to go see what is up on the east side of Death Mountain.
We are moving on up to the east side.
That's right. No sword yet, so we're no options to go for any sort of spin speed, but the hook shot is actually a good way to get around when you don't have the boots. Lots of things you can hook onto and speed up your travel just a little bit.
Alright, so we've got a whole chunk of items up here.
First up is... Oh, that was an accidental. Yeah. I think there's supposed to be a menu to switch to bombs. But I was like, is there some glitch I don't know about when you fall down? Like a Super Bunny thing? I don't know. Like,
you never know.
Freaked me out a little bit. Moon Pearl.
Alright, we can access the Dark World now. And in fact, we can access the entire Dark Death Mountain up here since we have the Moon Pearl.
Yep, Hookshot's going to let them explore Hookshot Cave as well. There's suddenly a ton of items left to check.
The only thing they can't access at the moment is the Tower of Hera. Because they need a hammer.
Or the
There's
mirror.
The flute.
Flute's a great find, but that's not going to get them in Tower of Hera either. Hammer will.
There's a hammer.
And a sword!
And a sword!
Paradox.
So, Paradox Cave is loaded today.
It kind of had to be at this point. I mean, I guess the game could keep stringing them along one item at a time, but it looks like they've hit the hub of this seed. Ben finding all these goodies now himself.
This is a really, really close race. Each runner just a couple of seconds behind the other. If Ben pulls off this bomb jump, whoops.
The curse. Yeah, so it's not too big of a time loss. You come out here in this weird way because you were just below where you were, and then you fell down and ended up above. But you fell down even further to correct for that time you accidentally fell down.
That's why we call that the Paradox Cave, because the internal design does not match the external design.
Yep.
It's bigger on the inside, I guess.
So Cransoon does not have the Master Sword, but he is for the book, so he's going to check to see what the Ether Tablet has.
Powder.
Powder. Opens up one location and also a fantastic safety item.
Yeah, I love the powder. It's my favorite item. Not close. I may have a problem.
Well, lots of people have problems with getting away from powder. But I think these guys will... I don't know. It does open up a location. And they are pretty low on offensive options. So they might...
There's the fire rod. Wow.
Nice. Suddenly everything.
To be honest. Well, I mean, they had the lamp, but still.
Still a fire rod. That's a very useful item for lots of different things. Not quite, power glove or hammer level, but still very nice to have. And with so many pendants in the light world, very likely going to have to do... Well, you're guaranteed to have to do either Skullwoods or Turtle Rock, so that is a required item.
Yeah, so after a pretty slow opening for this seed, everything is coming up Death Mountain.
No boots, so Cransoon is thinking about a bomb jump, but falls down.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a risky bomb jump to try.
Yep, this is just look at it.
Yeah.
Wanted to just save and quit out. No mirror. Save and quit. That sucks. Yeah. His entire Tower of Hera expedition is just over. And he had the hookshot. I mean, can you get back if you hookshot over? No, right?
No, and you can't really reach the switch with it from there, but if you use the fire rod, you can hit it.
So rather than try to sit there and waste time puzzling out what to do in that situation,
also, Red Boomerang would have made it, I think.
Yeah, he definitely, if he had taken a moment, I think he would have realized he had other options there.
Not Red Boomerang, but Fire Rod would have done it. So if this turns out to be something important for ajneb, for Ben over here, we're going to have problems. So Cransoon is unlocking the flute today.
As Ben has got this Moldarm fight, he's using the hammer because Fighter Sword only does, 1 damage versus the hammer's 4. So 3 hammer swings takes out Moldarm, lands all 3 very cleanly. Small key, okay.
And the green pendant falls from the sky.
Yep, if nothing is on the pedestal, the pendants are useless, but the green pendant unlocks an extra item from Sahasrara. We're getting red pendant in Ice Palace.
5 and 6 appear to be Swamp and Skull Woods.
So there's the rest of our remaining information about the dungeons in this seed.
It does look like the remaining item is here in the basement of Hera.
So Ben's going to be waiting out this tile room, and in a way, Cransoon kind of made a mistake by leaving. But if nothing ends up being in Hera, it ends up being a time save for him. Although even if this basement comes up empty, there's still the matter of the green pendant item that could maybe be huge for Ben.
So there's 2 whole items here that Ben will have access to, that Cransoon will not, and the entirety of Dark Death Mountain, which Cransoon didn't get to.
That is pretty big. It doesn't take too long to get back there, but those are some primo locations that Cransoon is not going to be checking that Ben will.
All right, so just big love in the basement of Hera.
Ben trying to fire rod his way out of the situation to get back upstairs. No mirror, and doesn't want to save and quit because, like you said, wants to keep exploring Death Mountain.
Very true.
Cransoon is not fighting Gibdos, trying to get them away rather than killing them with the fire rod. But with half magic, I don't know. I'd maybe just put them out of their misery.
I mean, as we notice, he may not remember he has the fire rod. No, I'm just kidding. But there's the cape in Skull Woods.
Nifty little safety item to have in certain situations.
So Ben's gonna check the spiral cave, which is always a sad sight when you don't have the boots.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
These long corridors are prime for dashing with those boots. We're gonna have to settle for just the hook shot, which has the ability of taking out everything that's in your way pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The hook shot, hook shot will take care of them whether they're in zappy mode or not.
That's the official. I think it's in the strategy guide.
Zappy mode, yes. That's a technical term.
So Ben coming out of Spiral Cave, which leads nicely to the Dark World portal. So we're going to get a look at Dark World Death Mountain as Cransoon is wrapping up Skull Woods. I've not been paying attention to the items that Cransoon has found here in Skull Woods. But it is a crystal, and it's crystal 6, which counts for a little something extra. Talk about that in a bit, just after we deal with this Mothula fight. Landing these fire rod shots, Mothula behaving very nicely.
Oh, yeah. What's up with this Mothula? Why can't he ever behave this nicely for me?
Yeah, normally Mothula likes to hang out in the corners near these spikes, and knocking Mothula into a spike means he just did no damage, which is pretty frustrating when you've only got, the fire rod with the half magic. It goes a long way, but he was pretty low on magic, and if that ran out, you're chasing him down with the hammer, I guess. So only got the fighter sword.
Ben has found an interesting item in the first bottle that we have found.
All right.
Game. It contains a fairy.
Counts for one more extra item. Sick Kid will give you an item in Kakariko Village as long as you've got a bottle.
Turtle Rock today requires ether.
Good knowledge to have. It's been diving into Hookshot Cave. More locations to check here.
All right, so we got a bunch of chests to check in here. There's 4 of them, and there's the Master Sword in the 3rd chest. So we've got another sword upgrade. That's pretty good.
Yeah, this particular sword upgrade not necessarily required, but extremely useful.
Well, the Master Sword upgrade is absolutely required.
Yeah, but you can find some other sword upgrade to get there.
You might be able to find another sword.
It'd be pretty evil if it stuck them with just the Master Sword for, most of the rest of the run. And it could very well be. We'll see.
Yep, we know those other 2 sword upgrades have to be somewhere in the world, but they don't have to be in a convenient location. Nothing has to be in a convenient location.
This is the randomizer. Ben activating the flute. We get to listen to the sweet dulcet tones.
Yeah. I don't have new lyrics written yet, so I was gonna hold off on those.
Quake medallion found in the big chest of Skull Woods. All we know so far is that ether is required for Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm. So they have both of the medallions that you don't need to get there, and the Sick Kid, which will give you something if you have a bottle. Just has 20 rupees today.
Yeah, I mean it's just 20 rupees to us, but to him it's like his entire allowance for the month. So that's a big gift. We should respect that.
Yeah.
So Ben did Tower of Hera, did Dark World Death Mountain, and not too much to show for it. Got the Master Sword, but that's kind of it.
And now Ben is going to make the play on Skull Woods. So the upside that Ben got from doing all that is he's done all of that. And so he doesn't have to think, okay, do I go back there to do this?
It's probably going to end up being a win for Ben. The odds that Cransoon finds everything he needs before heading back up there to check those locations is extremely slim, though King of Samaria is going to put him one step closer to that.
Ho ho!
Sitting there in Village of Outcasts.
I've been told, sir, that if you read the fine print, that you will find out that it is in fact required to be Cain.
All right, I'll take it. Not everyone can be Phantom Ryu. You gotta.
Oh, I can do Phantom Ryu if you want me to.
It's not as good. It's not as good when it's already been found. I can't stop him.
That's gotta be Cain.
All right, I take it back. That was fine. That was good. Good things are happening.
That was actually really bad, but that's okay.
We're gonna be moving on to Thieves Town. King of Samaria, what does that actually do for them here and now in the moment? I think not much, but you're gonna definitely want that. Both Mire, Turtle Rock required.
Yeah, yes, that was a Deckard Cain joke.
Yeah, that was the first one. That wasn't just like the worst JR you've ever heard. That was a different Cain.
That was also not the worst Sean Connery you've ever heard. I've also heard people say.
Ben heading into the Mothula fight, most likely. Going to take a little bit to get there, but almost, as Cransoon's finding the last of the 4 chests available very early on in Thieves Town. I certainly hope you guys will stay a while and listen. We're 42 minutes into this run. Most runs tend to be about an hour and a half. I think that's what I'd say for these 2 players.
Well, yeah, the distribution of the items sometimes can lead even the best players to, more than 2-hour times. So you never know. Yeah,
and we've still got a missing bow that is being pretty elusive with Palace of Darkness requiring it as a crystal. I mean, lots of things require the bow that are always a required item. That's not what we're talking about, but it's going to be required soonish, and that's still missing. Ice Rod, of course, for Turtle Rock, still missing. Ether still needs to be tracked down. The Mirror might be... Where's Swamp? Swamp Crystal, yep. Mirror also needs to be found. Oots. Lots of items missing, and kind of lots of items checked so far.
Yep, so, we know where all the crystals are, we know where all the pendants are. I guess we could start calculating the pedestal hype index.
Yeah, that's true. Like we said, lots of items still out there. And
so what could be on the pedestal is the question. So boots could be there. Ice Rod can always be there.
Bow, I think, can be there.
No, Eastern is pendant.
Whoops, I'm doing it backwards. Yep. Ice Rod, of course. Ether.
Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror can be there. Shovel could be there to lead to one of the others. Mushroom.
Yeah.
Cransoon down to 2.5 hearts now. There was an enemy right on top of him. I wasn't sure if it was going to knock him down to half a heart, but he killed it. Took the heart, it dropped up to 2.5.
So with the current items and the current potential pedestal items, I'm going to rate the current pedestal hype index at about a 1.4. I'll let you figure out what that's out of. I'll let you figure that out.
Oh man, did you hear the pedestal hype index got to a 1.4?
See, that's the kind of math I can do. I can just make it up.
Well, it
mushroom
can't be the mushroom anymore.
Town big chest.
mushroom always
We know where the powder
a
is.
super ambiguous find. I mean, once you have the flute, it's very quick to check in and see what the mushroom gives you, but sometimes you don't have that flute. You have this mushroom. The mushroom could be anything. Could be something stupid, could be something wonderful, and it can be pretty weird to kind of go out of your way to find out what it is. But with the flute, you can warp pretty much right there, so we'll probably see pretty soon what this mushroom is going to turn into.
Mm-hmm. So Ben is once again following Cransoon.
Yeah, Thieves Town's a crystal. It's completable. They've got the hammer to check that one chest, and has a fair number of items in there as well, so it's a good play.
He's a little better equipped than Cransoon going in, but once again, not that big a deal. Both of these players seem to know how to do the blind fight without dying horribly.
Yeah.
Which totally happened.
Yeah, it turns out if you are very predictable, hitting blind kind of at the same time, then blind will do the same pattern. So there's a sort of script you can follow, and if you stick to it, you can have an easy fight every time. And it works with even the fighter sword, because blind takes the same damage from pretty much every source of damage he can take damage from. So
you need
just
9
9
hits and he dies. I think it's like not even a damage table. I think it's just it counts the hits and then the phase moves on.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So, does anybody have like a video or something that teaches you what the correct way to fight blind is?
You hold the sword down, and it bumps you to the right, and then you get him down again, and then I think you charge and hold right, and that's the first phase. And then the second phase gets a little woozy for me, but you mostly just kind of stand in the right place, holding out the sword, which makes it sound so much easier than it actually is to pull off.
So Cransoon having a little fun with the digging game there.
Yep, the rupee's probably not going to be too useful
outside. Yeah.
But you could dig up some extra if you really wanted them.
Yep, and then grabbed the rupees or managed to exit at exactly the right time.
A pro shoveler is Cransoon, who's rescued the frog and has flown away.
Let me tell you, he shovels well.
I can't specifically recall what the reference is. I can guess it's a Mystery Men reference. But
it is a Mystery Men reference.
Okay.
You are correct.
It's important. It's important to know these things. It's also important to get through the hellway without taking too much damage. Ben is down to 6 hearts with no boots. That room is pretty tricky to navigate. Both players got somewhat low in their adventures in Thieves Town, even with the red mail.
So, Ben is heading through Grasshopper Alley here. I call it Grasshopper Alley because it's got a bunch of grasshoppers in it, shaped like an alley, and also it can be a huge pain when you only have green mail. Oh, it looks like Cransoon's about to do powderless powder.
Oh yeah, with the mushroom and the cane of Samaria, you can trick the game into thinking you are using the magic powder. It only gets some bombs. An especially weird case because they actually know where the powder is. And
to be fair, Ben knows. Yeah, Cransoon also went there. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So now that powder, if obtained, would strictly be for safety purposes. And these guys are really good, so I don't foresee Cransoon making a trip over to the tablet when they go back up to Death Mountain to check out some of those places they missed.
I know that if I was running this and I finally got all my items for Ganon's Tower, I'd probably get it as I was going to Ganon's Tower.
It's so good. There's so many anti-fairies that just get a whole bunch of hearts. When no major glitches runners are doing this game, they usually start by detouring for gold sword and silver arrows. They'll get the net and use all these various safety items to make sure they actually finish the run. And then as you get better, you kind of cut some of these safety items out to save time. And usually the last thing you cut out is that powder.
Yeah, probably pretty much.
We're seeing the bootsless hammer pegs from Cransoon.
Yeah. You hate to see it. You really do.
Hey!
Speaking of the shoveler.
Yeah, he's now been reunited with his instrument of power. As Ben is a little off script here in the blind fight, but the beauty of it is once you do the first phase and, you know, mostly get the second phase, you can kind of fudge it for the third phase and you'll usually end up with a pretty good fight anyway.
Yeah, and to be fair, if you have the fire shield, it makes it a lot easier because you can actually block the fireballs.
Yeah, they've had that shield for a long time. It was one of the only things the Seed saw fit to give them early on.
Alright, so J.R. Stumpsman has a couple of bombs.
No mirror, so we're going to have to skip out on the Haunted Grove cave, ledge, Ring of Flowers place.
And that digging location that he could have just accessed.
Oh yeah, that's true. That pesky mirror.
Yep. It is still one of the pedestal possibilities, so... There you go.
That would be pretty trolly. Cransoon getting attacked by every monster in this area of the Dark World.
Sometimes the monsters around Hype Cave can really troll you.
Doesn't manage to get in there, okay, down to 4 hearts.
Let's see if it's actually Hype Cave. Well, there's the Riot Shield. And that's about
it. Had something. It's a very cool visual upgrade.
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing it really does for you is it makes the laser bridge 400 times easier. And then you can also, like, the red mimics, you know, that you have to kill with the bow, you can walk right up to them and just shoot them in the face.
Yep.
Also blocks Lionel shots.
Yeah, those are both fast, useful, and amusing. So, thanks, Riot Shield. Checking in on the old bento box. What did Gary's wife make for him that we're about to steal?
Well, it doesn't matter. He's going to sell it for 10 gold. There we go.
Nice, convenient heart refill for Cransoon. No mirror, so we can't check Bombo's tablet. Not that we're in the Dark World anyway.
Yeah, Ryu, you missed my impression of you.
He said it was bad. I said it was okay.
Well, I got it caught in my throat. It usually sounds differently. Oh well.
I could tell there was this part of you that like wanted to redeem yourself.
I will live.
Yeah.
All right, so Cransoon is heading to Misery Mire area.
They've had this flute for a while, but this is the first time either player has headed over this way. A couple of locations that are easily checked.
Yep. Really just the shed here on account of not having the mirror. But you can also go in Misery Mire itself because they have the Bombos Medallion.
See what the shed has first. There's the rupees they were looking for early game.
The Ice Rod!
Alright, that's something.
Alright, so Cransoon's not going into Mire. That's interesting. I feel like I'd go into Mire.
Yeah, what could you really find that would speed it up? Like the boots?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cransoon has not done like all of Dark Death Mountain though, so he may be doing that. He's also turning in the mushroom.
Oh, chat looking out for us, pointing out Cransoon had no magic with which to open Mire.
Oh. That's good. Good to notice.
With half magic, you'd think that you would have a little something.
Yeah, well, he had to empty it to do the mushroom glitch.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Though Ben's also empty. I don't think he'd... Well, maybe he did do it.
Yeah, I think Ben is also doing the same thing, gonna do the fake powder glitch.
So, mystery solved, I guess. As Cransoon is finally heading up to Death Mountain. Like we said, the odds of Cransoon finding everything they need to get into Go mode to be able to skip all of these Death Mountain locations that Ben did was extremely unlikely, and so here we are. Digging up some magic. Yeah, go back and take that, sure. Not heading into the Dark World just yet.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting how this works. It requires a very specific set of items to work. You have to have both the mushroom and the cane. And you use the cane, and then while it's doing its, thing, you switch over to the mushroom, and it acts like you use the powder.
Yeah, it's extremely weird. I can't really think why that would happen.
I'm not saying that this game is held together with duct tape, but...
Well, the dark secret is that all games are kind of held together by duct tape.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just the popular ones that get picked apart by loving, adoring fans.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the Ether Medallion is also another possibility for Pedestal. I never mentioned that because we need Ether to get into Turtle Rock. Alright, so Cransoon picking up that Master Sword.
Gonna be a welcome sword upgrade that Ben has been enjoying for almost 15 minutes here.
I imagine both players did check what was on the floating island.
At least one of them did.
See it, but it's not particularly relevant. So, Ben here did pick up magic before he came to the Mire area. There we go, words. I know how to use words.
And so we may see Ben go inside, and this would be another divergence between these two players. He hasn't left yet, so I think you're right. Bombo's going to open the way as Cransoon is maybe going to finish off Hera. Nope, jumping down, going to head to Spike Cave.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things that the Magic Cape opened up logic-wise. It's possible to kind of brute force your way through a couple of different methods. I mean, as long as you've got the hearts, you can run along, but Cape certainly going to be a better way to go here.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the requirements in the logic, really, is some way to get through here without taking damage. That was the one of the changes made in the most recent logic update, in that you have to be able to get through to every item without taking damage. This is because there's a mode in the game called one-hit KO mode, and they want all of these item locations to be possible for all of them.
Checking in with Sick Kid, gonna pick up those 20 rupees. Cransoon did not opt to finish Tower of Hera, so saving time there. Could have been a huge downfall if something big was there, but is gonna get away. And is now, with magic, about to follow Ben into Mire.
Mm-hmm. So Misery Mire is the play, and both players are making it.
Taking a moment to deal with the murder dactyl that comes after you. If you've got Ether, you'll freeze it when you open Mire, but it's Bombos this time, so taking a moment to deal with it.
I thought Bombos would actually hurt it as well.
It might hurt it. I'm not sure, but I don't think it would kill it.
I know Quake doesn't. Quake doesn't touch it. Hey, there's the Tempered Sword.
the power of flaming Cheetos, we're now dealing double damage with our sword. I guess it's still the Master Sword, it's just tempered.
I once heard that referred to as the Tempura Sword.
The Tempura Sword, okay, I like it.
And so it's, like fried shrimp on
Yeah.
a sword. Which
You
sounds
just,
amazing.
There's just a deep fryer, and you stick the whole thing in there.
Deep fried sword.
Comes out golden brown, dealing twice as much damage. The way that fried foods deal twice as much damage to your body. Makes sense. Ben waiting out the everlasting cutscene to finally check this one location here in Mire. Just the map.
14 seconds that feels like 14 days.
Finally, our fortnight is over. Probably going to be coming up again soon for Cransoon.
All right. So Ben's going to be checking these right side chests now. We find the big key.
Sometimes when you're in Mire, you're in go mode. You're not hunting around for items. You're only hunting around for that big key. And so finding that can be a pretty big deal. But these guys are still missing the bow, the boots, the ether medallion, the mirror. So they're definitely not going to be leaving here without checking all the locations.
Just a whole bunch of things.
Cransoon about to be getting a piece of that Tempura sword himself.
And it looks like the second item is either going to be here in this chest or at Vitreous himself. Looks like Vidi.
Ben is down to 4 hearts. Does have that fairy in a bottle, and also sitting on tempered sword, red mail. So it's a little scary, but pretty sure Ben's going to be okay.
Shouldn't be a problem. The use of the tempered sword will allow you to dispatch the eyeballs of Vitreous pretty quickly.
Oh, he released the fairy for the green potion so that he could get into Mire in the first place.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a different story. Now down to 4 hearts. Didn't block that fireball with the shield.
And doesn't have the powder from the ether tablets, so...
Yep, no quick refill on the way to Vitreous. Does have a fair bit of magic left and the cape, though, so if you really get desperate, you can throw on the cape and just go nuts with your sword.
Right, you can cape. I keep forgetting cape is a thing.
Oh, as a novice player, let me tell you, the cape is my go-to in many situations.
I'm always just like, oh, but it uses so much magic, I can't... But yeah, he got things.
Plus, he's Ben. I'm pretty sure he can fairly reliably do a one-hit KO Vitreous. No bow, though, so... Actually, one-hit KO Vitreous without the bow is actually very, very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not probably going to be able to do the strats where you... Yeah, there's the cape. The way you normally do this, in like a no major glitches situation, is you walk into the slime, because the slime does a lot less damage than walking into the eyeballs, and then you do some sword spins. But cape will do the same thing that getting those invincibility frames from the slime will do.
And of course, the upside with the cape here, if you stand and slash with it, it stops the magic from draining.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no problem. Finishes off the entire fight with plenty of magic to spare and gets the ether medallion, so we have access to Turtle Rock, and I
Gross.
No. Yeah. You don't need the mirror to get in there, right? So you're...
No, you don't.
Yep, that is an option now.
You need the mirror to get into Mimic Cave.
That's true. Oh, how trolly would that be if, like, the bow was in Mimic Cave and the mirror was somewhere else?
So I did see a question in chat asking... Well, I lost it, but it looks like it was answered. Oh, they asked if Desert Palace was bootlocked, and the answer is yes.
Yeah, it sure is.
We need boots today.
Boots, bow, and mirror still missing. And it looks like Ben, with that Ether Medallion, is heading straight up to Turtle Rock.
Hmm. So Turtle Rock is now the play for Ben.
Swamp Palace not open. Palace of Darkness not finishable with the bow. They've already been to where they can be in desert. So unless you want to head into something awful like Pendant Ice Palace,
Yeah,
Turtle Rock
that was
is
the only
way
other
to
play I
go.
could think of.
Yeah.
Was go to ice, and nobody wants to go to ice. You don't want to go to ice when you're in go mode, but you do it anyway.
Oh, Dead Rock blocking Ben. He thought, like, look at how much room that is. Like, could you not just do like the Wind Waker sidle along the side? And you'd be fine, but nope.
Yep. I mean, it looks like you should get there, but Dead Rocks are bad. I have a working set of lyrics in my head to a parody of Tears for Fears' "Everybody Wants to Rule the World." It's called "Everybody Wants to Kill Those Squirrels."
Oh man, that's pretty good. All it needs is some accordion, and you'd be a regular Weird Al.
I'll put it together. I'll throw it up on the Discord at some point.
Please do. Discord, by the way, maybe someone can put the link to the Randomizer Discord in chat, because so we may be being exposed to, or rather exposing some new people to A Link to the Past, Randomizer, and the goodness and glory that it is. And so if it looks like something you want to get into, having a link for someone to follow would be pretty good. Fortunately, that Discord command doesn't work, but maybe one of those links in the A Link to the Past command there should get you on your way. Oh, there it goes. There's the bot's just, everyone overloaded it. There's too many people watching and having fun. It's great to see.
So yeah, the Discord is very nice, and everybody there will give you whatever information you need on doing this. And don't worry if your question is something that you figure we've already seen. We probably have. We're okay with it. We like to answer things.
It's worth it to have more people join the lovely community. Ben putting the magic cape to use again here in Turtle Rock. Cransoon just accidentally switched to it, tried to open Turtle Rock with the cape, just flap it into the breeze, trying to simulate the storm of ether. Not quite gonna cut it. Landing the sword spin on the pokey can be pretty annoying if those get away from you. Also can be pretty annoying to deal with the chain chomps in the chain chomp room, getting hit just before getting the invincibility frames from standing on the peg. So it takes one hit, but with red mail, still looking pretty good.
All right, so I like me some powder for Turtle Rock, and it's very unfortunate that they don't have it. Turtle Rock has so many anti-fairies. You can just go through without taking. You can just face tank everything and still walk.
Yeah, like look at this room. You walk in and there's just four of them just dancing around. They're spinning. They've worked out a formation ahead of time. They've been practicing, by the way, and you can just gobble them all up right away with one sprinkle of the powder.
This practice for, of course, their new production of Anti-Fairies the musical.
Look for it on Broadway, actually. Just type !Anti-Fairy for tickets. And now I'm tempted to like open a new tab and like real quick just Nightbot !Anti-Fairy. Don't think I could get it in time. Twitch delay isn't that high. Been dealing with the double pokey room here. Pretty good job. Those pokies can go in 4 different random directions, all the diagonals, and so when you got 2 of them, you've got 16 different possibilities as to how to handle that room. And top players will actually be prepared for all 16.
All right, so normally at this point you'd see people mirror to go to the Mimic Cave, but there's nothing there. You can't do it because you don't have the mirror.
Yeah, but there could be something there.
Yeah, that's true. the words "there's nothing there" just kind of flowed right out of my mouth before I could say it.
There's
and I was like, no, that's wrong.
nothing there that they can check right now, I think is
Correct.
where you were going with that. But it could end up being a disaster for them if, say, Lanmolas had the mirror and somewhere in Turtle Rock is the boots. And then, you have to dip into Turtle Rock and then come back just to check Mimic Cave.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind a required Turtle Rock double dip if both players have to do it.
That's true. You don't want to see a race decided because of a silly little thing, but that kind of has to be the way things go. If you want to make a gamble like Cransoon did, not finishing Tower of Hera, for example, the possibility that something very important was in Tower of Hera all along has to be there in order to create that sort of to make that a gamble in the first place. So I think it does make the game more interesting, though. As a viewer, you definitely don't want to see a total blowout because someone forgot to check something.
All right, world's easiest laser bridge.
Yep, just walking around. I mean, I guess he could be like holding the sword out upwards or downwards to turn the shield horizontally. Ben is opting to just kind of dodge out of way of the
There's the mirror!
Oh! I said mirrors instead of laser, and then the mirror appeared.
And so he's going to mirror out immediately and then mirror to Mimic Cave.
This is perfect. Now, does Mimic Cave have the boots or the bow or something?
Yeah. Now, the downside with that play is you don't go to Trinex immediately, but what are you going to do? Just bombs in Mimic Cave.
Definitely.
I imagine he will still go to Trinex.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a crystal. You definitely got to go back through. Is a bit of a trek, but you're certainly going to be closer to Mimic Cave now than you will at any other point. So if you're going to check it at all,
because if you complete the dungeon, you come out at the front door.
So a bit of a walk here for Ben.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably see Cransoon do the same thing. It's going to be a little bit before we find out.
Pedestal is not dead. We could still find the boots there.
Yes. It can't be the bow because of Eastern Pendant, but it can be the boots. If you're if you're new to the randomizer and maybe even A Link to the Past in general, the pedestal where you normally obtain the Master Sword, in order to grab it, you need to obtain the 3 pendants of power, wisdom, courage. I think the colors are actually swapped in this one, but I think the names are still the same. And normally those pendants are obtainable in all the dungeons in the Light World, Tower of Hera, Eastern Palace, Desert Palace. But in Randomizer, those are all mixed up. So wherever those 3 pendants are, you need to go track them all down. And the odds that something is in that pedestal is very slim, so most players don't worry about it. But sometimes the pedestal has been randomized to contain a necessary item, and in those cases it means the entire dynamic of the seed has been changed. So we really like to look out for those things and keep the dream alive.
So although the number of items that the pedestal can have has been reduced, the amount of items they have checked has altered the pedestal hype index, I'm going to say, to about a 1.7.
All right, thanks for the check-in with Dr. Bob and the hype index. Up to a 1.7, up from a 1.4 familiar. The forecast has gone up. And Cransoon has mirrored out back to Mimic Cave. With Ben with a very good Trinex fight, about as good as you can do with the Tempered Sword and no boots, really.
If you must know, Dr. Bob is a doctor of computer science, but that's neither here nor there.
That's right. You didn't go to college to learn how to rhyme the way you do.
Yeah, I learned that on the streets, and by that I mean
the street where I live.
Yes,
that street. I was there when I practiced. Anyway, Ben is not going to Ganon's tower because he does not have all the crystals. So this could be Spike Cave. It could also be Powder.
He could be going to get Powder.
think that's what we're going to see.
Maybe. I think he might have gotten Mire. No, he's going to Spike Cave. I think he might have gotten the Mire out just to avoid that Lionel.
Yeah, normally when you have the boots, you dash right across there, you crash into him, you knock him out of the way, you're on your way. But without the boots, that Lionel is a big problem. So rather than fight it, he opted to just phase into another dimension. Seeing the hookshot put to use to speed up this travel in the spikes. I don't think we saw Cransoon do that.
Alright, so just a piece of heart in the Spike Cave.
As Cransoon gets into the Trinex fight. Ice Rod shot just a little too early. Switching to Fire Rod before the head starts exploding because it locks you out of the menu.
I'm gonna say 8 1/3%.
Yeah, after careful calculation.
Yeah. The chat asked if there's a quarter heart and 3 necks, how many percentage of a heart does each neck get? I say 8 1/3.
All right, that's Dr. Math checking in with another hot calculation. Meanwhile, with the Mire, a couple possibilities have been opened up. One of those is Bombo's tablet.
Yep, and here on the Bombo's tablet, we will find a massive explosion and 50 rupees.
Well, we're not done yet. We're kind of close to Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah,
see if that's where Ben's going.
But to get to Checkerboard, you gotta mirror, flute, move, and then mirror again.
Yeah, Ben says no. It starts with a flute too, so you can kind of do it from anywhere.
Looks like it's swamp time.
Because Cransoon never actually did Spiral Cave, so...
Yep. Because of that early, unfortunate lock there in Hera.
Did anyone check Bat with Fake Powder? Both players opted to check Bat with Fake Powder.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of messed with Cransoon a little bit, actually, because he got caught without any magic and was unable to open Misery Mire while he was there, so we had to kind of double back for it. Small time loss.
Yep. So, Ben is heading into Swamp Palace. Now, Swamp Palace is known for being a place with 6 items, lots of items. Unfortunately, it's also a place you want to not have to search for, because a lot of the items are very spread out. There's a whole west wing that you don't even have to do if you're in go mode. So that's the difference here.
Yeah, and for newer viewers, go mode means you have all the items that you know you need to beat the game, and so all you're doing is beelining it to the bosses to get the crystals to head to Ganon's tower, finish him off, and win the game.
Indeed.
We call it that because it's time to go.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Ben is going to turn in the green pendant anytime soon.
Yeah, he's had that for a long time. Don't think Cransoon finished Tower of Hera while he was on Death Mountain, so that's still a possible, game-deciding thing that is yet to rear its head.
Right. I feel like the green pendant check will probably happen after Bo is found.
Yeah, Bo is going to lead Ben over to Palace of Darkness, and then it's just a quick mirror away.
And then at that point, we might have vanilla boots, which would be hilarious.
Yeah, that's true. Boots is normally where you get that green pendant item. The bow could also be the green pendant item, in which case that's a pretty nice middle finger there to the players.
Alright, so Ben is doing the backside strat first here in Swamp, because if you get the items you're looking for, you don't have to check the left side, and that's good. And if you don't, then it's probably just as fast to walk back in.
We'll see what Cransoon decides to do in a couple minutes, as Cransoon is now mirroring to open up the entrance to Swamp as well.
Now, a little piece of trivia. Here in Swamp Palace, there are, something like 9 chests or 9 locations that we think about. There's the bow!
All right, now we're in business. Just the boots left to find before we are in go mode.
All right. But this very first chest here in Swamp Palace, we don't even really think about it because it's always going to be a key.
Yeah, if this was not a key, you would not be able to progress at all to get any of the other items. So there's logic in place to make sure that sort of thing doesn't happen.
All right, so Ben is going to be heading to the Argus fight. Now, with the Tempered Sword, Argus is pretty easy, I think.
I wonder if Ben's going to be doing the skewer. Nope.
Looks like no. So, Argus, the little puffballs around him, I found out they're called Argai.
Okay, like the plural.
Yeah.
Ends in US. Yeah, checks out. Oh,
there's
yeah.
the best strat. Double fire rod spin to take down Argus before he can jump away again.
Oh, they do. He does need the boots to do the skewer. You do like a hook dash kind of thing in order to get it started, but it is really cool.
Yeah.
You end up holding your sword out while still being able to fire the hook shot, and you just pull them right onto the sword. It stabs them all super fast. It lets you do the 0 cycle on Argus. It is incredibly hard to pull off. One of the hardest things in the game, I think. So it's always a treat. I always get excited when I think it might happen, but not this case. Still need those boots.
Yep. So, Ben will now be checking the left side. Yeah, the idea was 0 cycle there, being he doesn't get the chance to make his Argai spin around in that funny formation there.
Bottle with the red potion. That's code red. And you've of course got classic Mountain Dew for the green potion and Baja Blast should you be lucky enough to find a blue potion.
Yep. So in that case, I'm gonna have to go with the red one. Even though I like the blue potion better for most purposes, but Baja Blast never really appealed to me.
I don't think I've actually ever had Baja Blast. I'm not sure if I've ever actually even seen it in Canada. We definitely had Code Red for at least a little bit.
The only place you'd see Baja Blast is at Taco Bell.
Yeah, and not often I find myself in a Taco Bell. But not because I'm like, ooh, like snooty. I don't do fast food. Believe me, I do fast food, but Taco Bell not the one. Anyway, enough about my eating habits. How about
enough about Mountain Dew, who is totally not sponsoring this stream.
They're not. Don't imply these. Lots of people are watching. It's not okay.
I'm being entirely honest. I don't know what's wrong.
No, you can't do it in that tone of voice. Everyone. Oh boy.
That wasn't sarcasm.
You can't just talk sarcastic all the time and then think that makes it not sarcastic. They're in the same room actually. This is kind of interesting. It's been a while since the players have been this close. Ben, of course, has already cleared out a big chunk of the dungeon. Cransoon has not. So
looks like this will be Ben's last item coming up. What do we have? Just bombs.
So Ben still maintains a bit of a lead here as Cransoon backtracks and starts heading further into Swamp Palace, whereas Ben has to make it show. Well, no, found the bow, so we're going to pod. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's Palace of Darkness time.
Palace of Darkness is the first dungeon that you're kind of supposed to do in the vanilla game.
Also, we might have forgotten that 5 and 6 were completed.
Yes, Crystals 5 and 6 were Skullwoods and Swamp. So, having just finished Swamp, This shop is now selling this big pink-orange big bomb, and I mean, that's cool and all, but what's especially cool about it is that it opens up the pyramid. There's a big cracked wall that you can blow open with this thing. Go say hello to the Pyramid Fairy, who I think is still there, but most people usually just open the chests and leave. 2 items here for Ben to check.
About the only thing that Pyramid Fairy will do for you in the randomizer is fill up your bottles with something if you want them to.
Oh yeah, and that's randomized too, right? Like, it could be fairies,
It is.
bees. Pretty weird.
There's the butter sword on the pyramid.
Ben doing the double take there. Wait a minute. So the butter sword is normally where you normally get that in the vanilla game in that cave he just opened, but it's migrated a little bit here in this seed.
So like almost vanilla?
No, yeah, not quite. Somewhere between vanilla and butter,
Yeah, I think so.
which is the worst ice cream flavor.
I don't know. It sounds pretty good, especially if you deep fry it.
Well, yeah, then it would do double damage.
Vanilla deep fried butter.
That's
we are now going to the Hyrule State Fair.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you would find that for sure. We got an Argus fight from Cransoon. Doing a pretty good job here. I think that one puff got kind of sucked back up there, but gonna try to clear these out before the second cycle. Yep, does get that one cycle. It has the fire rod out, so we're hoping to see another bing bang boom here. 1, 2.
Ooh, almost. And that will get rid of not Cransoon. It's not getting rid of Cransoon. It's getting rid of Argus on Cransoon's side. And Ben is remembering that he has the...
I was going to say, I think he missed the one like nifty spot that takes you right in front of the gate, but he didn't. He did... is right in the doorway.
Oh, the single arrow!
There's one of those in the prize, all the items in the game. There's lots of like packs of 5 arrows, 10 arrows. There's only one with 1 arrow, and that's why it's special. That's why we like it around here. Players will, in chat rather, will imply that it makes your run valid, and without it, your run is invalid. Ignore such allegations, but still, lovely that Ben has found the single arrow.
So, Ben now making his way into the Palace of Darkness, which I have taken to calling the Mullet Mansion.
Uh-huh, and why would you call it that?
Well, it's the Mullet Mansion on account of... So everybody knows what a mullet is. It's a haircut that's designed to be business in the front and party in the back. Well, here in Palace of Darkness, we've got a bunch of keys up front, and all of the items are going to be in the back because this Palace of Darkness requires so many keys to keep it from being key locked.
Yeah, it's funnier when it doesn't require the explanation, but you're right. The way you can approach this dungeon with all the different paths and all the different keys, it means that if you were so determined to screw yourself, you could grab keys in certain places and open doors and in such an order as to make the palace incompletable pretty easily. So there's a lot of things in place in the logic to make sure there are enough keys to make sure you can't do that to yourself. And as such, most of these early locations end up having these small keys. But this one has just a piece of heart.
Unfortunately, I felt I had to explain the joke because we have a lot of viewers
we
today.
do. We have a lot of... It was necessary. I definitely give you credit for knowing jokes are not as funny when you have to explain them. But then you also can't just throw out a mullet reference and have like 1,000 people left in the dark. So I think you walked a line there and you made it work. And it's obviously you can't just not do the reference. I mean,
clearly
something like that has to come out. So
that's necessary.
Cransoon has got the butter sword. It's checking now in the Pyramid Fairy cave here. Gonna get just some rupees and bombs, and then probably off to Palace of Darkness as well.
Yep. Alright, so Ben is gonna flip a switch and head to the back. This is where the party's at.
There's an incredibly difficult trick you can do to bomb jump over to that big chest. Not going to be necessary in most cases, I think, in the randomizer, because you usually want to get in there and check those locations in the maze.
Yeah, the only time you're going to do that is if you don't have the mirror and you do have the big key, so that you can grab that chest and get out the other direction. It's a pretty interesting trick, and I believe it's pixel perfect. Like, you have to drop the bomb in a very specific location, and you have to be standing in a very specific location. I think,
Yeah,
at least vertical wise.
Yeah, double pixel perfect on both the bomb placement and you. A bit of wiggle room horizontally, but in addition to finding those two perfect pixels, the bridge is collapsing behind you, so an incredibly difficult trick.
A lot of people will buffer with like menu pauses and things like that, just to make sure they get enough time to check their positioning.
Thankfully, our players don't have to do this very difficult hammer bomb jump. They're just going to walk around the old-fashioned way, check out some of these chests. Ben is mostly done here, just the big chest left at the end.
Wrong tube I don't, but it sounds like it would work with this dungeon quite a bit.
By POD.
Yeah.
I don't know, that with the band name, it's not like the band name comes up often in the song, unless they're a very vain band, I guess. But
right, but it's called Rock the Party, and that's what we're going to. It's the party in the back.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You can work with that. I can see it.
I can.
I look forward to it. In the meantime, the players are looking to make it happen. Ben looking to top off on some hearts there and using the Cane of Samaria to forgo pushing the statue in this room. Very nice little trick. So they are missing those boots for go mode. But they're also missing silver arrows. They have butter sword. So the silver arrows aren't going to save a whole lot of time on Ganon, and both players are definitely skilled enough to do that fight reliably without them. But there's still a nice safety item to have. So I wonder if the players might, how far out of the way are they going to be willing to go to check locations for these silver arrows?
My guess is not particularly far. They might check, say, the final chest after Moldorm 2. Maybe a couple of chests on the way up Ganon's Tower. And, anything that's right in the way. But otherwise, you're in a big race. Doesn't seem like it's necessary.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Ben is going to be the first one into the Helmasaur fight. Not going to be holding out the sword to increase the hitbox on the hammer to make this a little easier. I think it's a little slower, mostly because the sparkles on the sword create some lag.
Alright, so Ben dispatching Helmasaur in a masterful fashion. That is 17 hits to the face with a hammer and then 2 slashes to the jewel. And that's 50 rupees. And Ben finishes the Palace of Darkness, picking up his 7th crystal.
6th.
6th. Yeah. My brain said 6, my mouth said
Your
7.
mouth didn't. Yep. So, because 7 is the total number of crystals, and Desert still remains to be finished. Now you might think, okay, well then that's where he's going, but he still doesn't have these boots, and both players have already been, so they know that they need to find these boots first. So Ben is saying, well, I think Armos has an item, so he's going to do this entire dungeon just to defeat the Armos Knights and maybe, hopefully, find the boots.
Luckily, he doesn't have to go all the way around to get the big key chest. Alright, so coming up here, there's a little trick in this room to keep skeletons from spawning. Usually, if you walk in that room and just head for the center pot like they expect you to, you'll get 4 skeletons spawning around you. But you can keep 2 of them from spawning by walking into the center in such a way that one of them will spawn off the top of the screen and the other one will spawn on top of the center pot, and so they don't actually spawn.
Yeah, makes that room look really clean. You can do it by throwing 2 pots at the remaining skeletons, but if you've got a sword upgrade, Master Sword or higher, you've got those sword beams. So Ben using the pot, the first one, I think, just to kind of set up the timing for when the skeletons spawn, and then just turning around and whipping the sword beam at the other one.
And there's also, you can use bow strats. I learned the other day you can use the hook shot to stun one of them while it's still invisible and kill the other one, and it counts.
That is cool. Also doing a really good job of the red Igors before the Armos Knights, alternating left and right to get that kill, and then we'll see how this boss fight goes. You want to leave 2 shots on one of them, but put all 3 in there, so I don't think we're... Oh, wait, no. Okay, yeah, didn't quite get the quick hit.
Yeah. But just, wrecking them anyway. Getting 20 rupees for his trouble. And
those are not the boots.
Unfortunately, it looks like Ice Palace may be a play here.
Yeah, I think there's a couple overworld locations. This Mire is still pretty fresh, so I think there's the graveyard ledge. I don't think they've been to Catfish.
Yeah. The Haunted Grove ledge as well.
Yeah, so there's a couple overworld locations, but they're spread out. They're not very nice.
Checkerboard Cave, yes, that's another one.
So yeah, I mean all these options are kind of ugly. And so it looks like Ben says, you know what?
Making the pedestal check. During a pedestal check, the pedestal hype index automatically increases by 3 points. So we are now sitting at a 5.1.
Oh man, are you guys ready? It can be these boots.
Increase arrow storage, low price.
Oh, the index dropped. The stock.
The index falls to a 0.
There is no hype left.
We have no pedestal hype. It is gone.
So that's going to discourage Ice Palace a little more, but all the same, there's a lot of items. Not a lot of items, but enough items in one place that Ben is feeling like Ice Palace is still the way to go.
Right. We've got 3... There's 3 items in Ice Palace proper, and then you've got a bunch of 1 item at a time places to go.
Yep. And this is not a situation where Ice Palace needs to be completed anyway, so you might be like, oh, but I'd rather do it in Go mode, or, you're not really worried about that. You're just worried purely about item locations in this case.
And the second Ben locates those boots, he will be out.
Yep. Or the second he finds 3 items that are not the boots.
Correct.
So far he's got just the compass.
Yeah, so
Cransoon.
Each dungeon has a specific number of items. They also have 2 basically dud items, which are the map and compass, and then the big key, of course. So all of the randomized locations of the dungeons, you're going to have 3 at least, plus whatever small keys are in chests, plus the remaining items.
Cransoon also deciding, because, going dependent Ice Palace is now a possibility, Cransoon wants to know whether or not he should finish it by checking the pedestal as well. So,
unfortunately, because we already know, pedestal hype index is not going to increase during this pedestal check. And
I can
he's
just imagine, I can feel it when he's up there reading that tablet. So for me, it's still like a 0.5, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. So Ben, knowing that he's going to check items, is not bothering doing the Ice Palace bomb jump, which is a trick that generally speeds up Ice Palace by a huge margin, and is one of the tricks I recommend learning as soon as possible if you start playing this game.
Yeah, this dungeon is it's kind of split into 2 sides, and they kind of expect you to go to one side to get the big key to finish the other. And you don't actually need that big key if you do that bomb jump. There are some pegs that they expect to be blocking your way, but the bomb jump gets you around a peg, lets you leave the peg up.
Speaking of the big key,
Yeah, there it is. That can help you out a little bit in your routing, especially because there's this big chest here where it's required, and you're just going to get a hard container out of it.
there's one of the items. Both of our players have now made their way into Ice Palace.
So where are these boots? Are they here in Ice Palace, or are they in one of those weird overworld locations the players hadn't got around to checking just yet? Has either runner checked Bumper Cave yet?
Yes, both players checked Bumper Cave,
Okay.
I believe. Red Ruby, if I recall correctly.
People calling them catfish. I always like to think of catfish.
Boots at Catfish is like cruel though, because
Sure.
it's so far out of the way anyway, and then you have to walk to it.
I mean, kind of anything at catfish can be cruel.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes it lines up where like you can do a whole sweep of the kind of northern areas of the world, especially if you've got the mirror and you can combine it with Zora and whatnot. But usually you end up doing pieces of those before you ever get around to catfish.
Now Cransoon will be doing the Ice Palace bomb jump.
Oh yeah, here we go, and it looks good.
Very, very quick setup,
Oh.
but then falls.
And just gonna do it again just as fast.
Yeah. Oh nope.
Oh,
he didn't line that one up.
It looked like he had it to me, but it,
I think he had it and then he lost it.
Yeah, sometimes you don't think you got it, and so you move, and then you realize
There it is.
I totally just had it. So that sucks. Had a perfect, beautifully executed bomb jump first try, and we were like, "Oh yeah, like hats off to Cransoon, just showing off the trick beautifully."
Looks like Ben has found all 3 items, and none of them were the boots.
All right, a couple of locations left to check here. Which one's it going to be for Ben? I think
All right, so the first option is
Haunted Grove Ledge, maybe.
probably either that or Graveyard Ledge.
Oh yeah,
It's
you're
gonna be
kind
one
of.
of those two.
They're both kind of equally far from this portal, but unfortunately in fairly different directions.
It looks like Haunted Grove.
And unfortunately, since the boots, or the item we're looking for is the boots, we cannot be dashing through all these really long sections. We're just going to have to walk it.
Wait, has he not done Purple Chest? He has
There
not.
it is. So this is an advantage to Cransoon. I've been thinking this whole time that Ben has checked pretty much everything that Cransoon has, plus like 1 or 2 extra places. But it looks like there's one thing, at least, that Cransoon has that Ben hasn't, and that's this purple chest.
Yep. We, of course, know this will not be the boots as well.
Yep, Cransoon's already checked it. Just a piece of heart. Fluting probably back to Kakariko to go to that same portal.
No, he's going to 4. Looks like he might go to the Haunted Grove Ledge this way.
I think that's probably a little faster.
Or change his mind. He's going to 3. All right.
I think that's probably a little faster.
As
Just totally changed my mind as well.
As one of our songs has stated before, just flute to 3. Just flute to 3.
Yep. There's a very accessible portal here and a ton of locations that all kind of radiate from this location, so definitely the number 1 flute spot.
So, Cransoon is going to go pick up the big chest pretty soon, and that will be his last item.
Cransoon's Ice Palace routing has been a little awkward, I think. That's the second time I've seen him in that room where you fall down there.
Yeah.
I've been too focused on Ben checking the new locations because those boots are going to be somewhere. But Cransoon has been making his way through Ice Palace.
All right, so Graveyard Ledge. What do we have? The boots! What are those?
What are those? Oh my god, that's it. That's go mode for Ben. He's got him. Look at him dashing, going super fast.
This go mode brought to you by Pegasus Foot Locker for all of your footwear needs.
Ben is gonna go through the portal. Oh, this is gonna be a faster way to get into Desert Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Does Pegasus Foot Locker also sell shoes that let you fly, like with wings on them?
Depends on the
outlet.
Yeah, depends on the place.
I need to find a new place. Mine's no good.
They might have some Rock's Feathers available.
Yeah, I walked in and said I want some Pegasus boots, and they looked at me funny.
Yeah, I think you looked on them. I think you looked at the sign. There was no Pegasus on that sign.
I had a different store, some other kind of Foot Locker.
Yep.
So Ben is the first one into Desert Palace. Cransoon's going to be checking Checkerboard Cave. Piece of heart.
Ben finds the big key and goes to check this chest.
Well, silvers are still out there somewhere.
Looking for silvers.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick check. If silver arrows were in the Checkerboard's cave, that could have been a pretty interesting difference. Cransoon is behind. Still needs to go grab those boots and doesn't necessarily know where they are. Could be checking some of the places.
I think he might be heading to Graveyard Ledge at this point, though.
Yeah, I think that's kind of that or the Haunted Grove ledge, but I think you're right. But Cransoon definitely behind. Has to make up some ground here.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of time.
Definitely looks like Graveyard Ledge at this point.
This is good news for Cransoon. Good news for us because we want this to be as close as possible. An exciting finish.
At this point, they're about a good Ganon's Tower gamble apart, right?
That's right. There is a big key door in Ganon's Tower, and you need the big key to get through it. And Ganon's Tower is it's kind of split into two sides. You've got a left and a right, and there's more locations generally on the left side. The density of the items is a little they're not quite so evenly distributed, so there are some reasons to go to the right side, but still, there's a gamble to be made in going to the right side and also in checking the tile room. Ben having a pretty good lane Molda's fight, by the way. They're getting the 7th crystal. Going to be heading up to Ganon's Tower soon, but the location of that big key could be everything.
Meanwhile, Cransoon gets himself into go mode and will be checking out Desert Palace as soon as possible. Now, everybody, we know what time it is. Ben just picked up his 7th crystal. It's time to call your big key shot.
Big key. Where's it going to be? There are 22 locations spread out around Ganon's Tower, and if you're seeing all these numbers in chat, the idea is to guess which location that big key is going to be. We'll count them off and tick them off the list as we go. It's possible that the players check the items in a different order and then you end up with 2 numbers, and that's weird. So we'll usually just announce multiple winners. But whatever. It's fun.
Yeah. You can also list a specific location if you so desire. Specifically, my contractual obligation is that I pick Bob's chest every time. That's the chest just above the Ice Armos, where we have a potential to see a little glitch that we call Bob.
Yeah, I hope we get to show it off. It's a really weird interaction, and I guess we'll point it out when we see it. Ben got up on Death Mountain and then started dashing left, got a little ahead of himself to head to Ganon's Tower, and then, wait, no, I need to be in the Dark World, dashes right, goes through the portal, has made it now to the left, and is now opening the way to Ganon's Tower as Cransoon is desperately trying to finish Desert as fast as possible. Ropa's not cooperating there, hiding on opposite sides of the rooms. Here we go. standard fare, checking these first 2 chests on the right side.
Yep, so 300 rupees and the bug net, so we will not be seeing a right side gamble today. You need a small key to head that direction. You could, in theory, go to the next room, which is the tile room, and look for one, but that's not necessary.
Bottle with a red potion. Interesting.
So Bob gets to live today. It's a very strange interaction. If you leave the item on that torch, then an anti-fairy gets a very odd sprite change later on. I have no idea why that happens.
Yep, I couldn't tell you. I do know that that item is normally required, so they don't expect you to be able to skip it. Just getting all of the small keys, which is my favorite Blink-182 parody song. And,
all the small keys.
Yep. But that's items 1 through 7 checked. You're gonna do it, aren't you? You're gonna do more of this song.
I mean, I was gonna make up some words, but you start. You know what? It's not relevant.
If you had one ready though, I would give you the go ahead. Link 182. Oh, how did I miss that? Oh man.
Link 182. Oh my goodness.
Good stuff. I like that way more than it deserves to be liked. Anyway, Ben is now checking more locations here in Ganon's Towers. Cransoon's making his way up Death Mountain, and this inability to check the right side, I mean, without getting crazy and doubling back after finding a small key, means that we're probably going to be seeing the same route through Ganon's Tower, and that's bad news for Cransoon, because his only way to catch up now is just to outplay Ben. And good as Cransoon is, Ben is also very good, and it's very hard to make up this kind of time difference through execution alone.
All right. So, just a whole lot of nothing here.
No boots, rupees. All right, not bad. Definitely encouraging chat to come up with their own.
Oh, they are
Link 182 lyrics.
They are. I will admit I am a little distracted right now by trying to come up.
The gears are turning, trying to make.
I think the time has passed, but perhaps later.
Absolutely later. Until then, Ben is now. There he is. There's Bob in the bottom right corner. What's
Hello,
with
Bob.
that sprite? It's like a weird eyeball, and there's still the things going around the outside, but they're a little weird. Anyway, there he is, just hovering there above the gap. Bye, Bob. We'll see you later.
And unfortunately,
Bob chest, yeah, didn't have it.
Nothing there. So we move on to the Ice Armos fight.
Armos on Ice, by the way, you can also get tickets to that as a combo with the Anti-Fairies production. So
Yep, there is that.
This is 15, 16, and 17.
Ooh.
Nothing.
We have a right side big key.
So this is if Cransoon were to get the small key here in the Stalfos room, and then insanely double back to the right side.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
The Dark Magician route, which is what people call when you come into here, grab the 4 chests and then mirror out.
Absolutely insane. There's no way that anyone, especially a Dark Magician, would ever do that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
There is merit to it, to that route, but very few players do it. Cransoon, unfortunately, in this case, not one of them.
Well, it's a lot better when you don't check the 2 chests on the right side first.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
All right, so Ben, there it is.
That
chest
is
number 19.
19. I didn't say it, but I always say 19. I blew it. I blew my chance to win the game. So who did win? Who said 19? I'm going to be scrolling up here, and boy, we have so many viewers that it doesn't scroll high enough for me to see all of the winners, but I'll go ahead and look at this for a little bit, see if someone threw out my favorite number, 19, and honestly, I'm not seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot of numbers, but MG3 News threw out the 19. Congratulations to them, but there can be multiple winners, absolutely. Did anyone else guess 19? Salt Plus guessed 19. Congratulations, you're a winner.
So, what do they win?
They win. They win a signed photograph of me, giving them a thumbs up.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I'm also told Herfy Durfy's love and affection is on the line.
Sometimes I'm here that he's actually out of that now. So.
Oh, he's at least maybe he's got it on back order.
Desh Witter, not sure if that's an actual 19 guess or if that's just coming in. No, that definitely was before it was open, but it's a bit of a late guess, but I'm still willing to give it to them. Add that name to the list of winners.
I'm gonna be adding all the small keys to my list of songs that I want to make.
Sure, absolutely.
So that and Everybody Wants to Kill Those Squirrels.
Resting my chin on my fist. Oh man. I'm also would be willing to accept fan art of said photograph. while I have a bigger audience than normal, how about I just petition my own weird personal things from them? Moving
Very
on,
nice.
Ben has got a very fantastic... Oh no, it got away from him! Just had to throw the fire rod one more time, but trying to hit it with the sword, I think, and couldn't quite see where it was, and ended up diving down really quick. So the one cycle denied on the land wolves for Ben.
All right, so Cransoon will be getting his big key shortly. Meanwhile, ajneb going through some of my favorite rooms in Ganon's Tower. There is very little that is more satisfying than wrecking Wizrobes with a Cane of Samaria block.
Yeah, the Cane of Samaria is a very weird item. I mean, for most people, it makes the block that holds down switches. But you can explode that block into projectiles that travel in 4 different ways, and they do like kind of a lot of damage for not a lot of magic, and it's a really cool combat option. And those Wizrobes just happen to line themselves up in those plush shape patterns.
I think
Good
they
stuff.
actually only do fighter's sword damage,
Really?
but Wizrobes die to anything.
Oh, well, that's a shame. They have the sprite though is. Yeah, I know. I got a little choked up. I'm sorry, but need to drink some water.
Ooh, we
But-
got the Cane of Brian.
They had
So
the same
Brian,
projectile.
if you're
as-
watching, we found your cane.
Yeah, it's in the Lost and Found here in Ganon's Tower. We'll put an announcement on the PA system, and then you awkwardly have to make your way.
Over to the
it
customer
up.
service desk,
Yeah, and be like, "Hey, I'm Brian. That thing was me."
All right, so Ben finishes off Moldorm 2 very quick, no trolling today. And the silvers are in the
Whoa!
validation! Yes!
Wow, could you imagine if they didn't open it? Wow. That is
Wow.
maybe Cransoon's last hope to make up some ground on Ben.
Today's Silver Arrow is sponsored by Dairy Queen, except not really.
It's the opposite. Yeah. Dairy Queen has nothing to do with these silver arrows. We got an ajneb174 fight. Ben definitely
Nice!
like triple there, making it happen. Very hard
It might
to get
have
these
been a
triples.
double because of the line, but it was really good.
Yeah, I think it was a triple though. It's always hard to tell, but
Nah, it's a double.
Okay, yep, double confirmed. Unable to get that last hit.
All right.
So what otherwise was pretty much a flawless ajneb174 fight. I was going to point out the heart situation. You're not really in danger of dying unless you get horrible blue ball luck on ajneb174.
Mhm.
But these hearts are going to carry over kind of to the Ganon fight. And I think he's got some kind of health refill situation.
Possibly.
Passed up the red potion, used the fairy,
Yeah.
bought a green potion.
I think there was another red potion. Yeah, it was in Swamp.
Okay. So it does have that and is opting not to use it. With red mail, if you touch Ganon, is that 4?
I don't know.
It could be bad, basically.
I think it might be 2.
He's doing the dash
Or
inside
3.
the fire circle. The bats will do 2.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Does manage to avoid the fire bats. Doesn't quite hit Ganon before this one spirally one comes out, but he does get him on the second hit, so that's going to control him. And now it's not really too much about the hearts. It's about not falling. And with the silver arrows, I think Ben is going to be able to wrap this up.
Ben was getting a pretty good teleport pattern until that very last shot. Did we find the arrows in your tower? Yes.
Just barely.
What are you doing?
Switching actually to the silver arrows because only just got them, so of course he wouldn't have switched to them yet. Going to be getting 2 singles here. You can hit Ganon multiple times with the silver arrows if he's positioned well, but if your arrow carries him into something and he gets bumped into it, you're not going to be able to hit him multiple times, unfortunately.
This will be a double.
I think he's already got the 3, though, right? Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
That's the 4th hit.
Nice.
Ben, the winner, with just missing the sub 2. Final time of 2 hours, 26 minutes. Not necessarily a pedestal seed, but they were in all the dungeons.
Almost 2 hours, 26 seconds, yes.
Seconds, yep. Different. That's a different thing. Seconds are different from minutes. Thank you for the clarification. All the same, though.
Just missed it. Did Cransoon open the validation chest?
I don't think he did. He did.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
All right.
He's down
so
to 2
Ben,
hearts.
Does Ben usually give interviews? I don't remember.
It depends on what his kids are doing. Basically, he's there's been times where he's like, no, I need to like be really quiet on the mic. I can't be talking on the interview. That happens pretty often, but sometimes he's free to talk. Or wait, maybe I'm confusing Ben with Fred.
Yeah, looks like Ben will be coming in after a short bio break.
All right, sounds good. I got the different. I got the wrong 1-syllable name linked to the pass runner, who's very good. The chat's calling me out on it pretty hard. Oh no!
And like I said earlier in this run, I said, depending on the distribution of the items, even some of the best runners could end up taking more than 2 hours on a given seed. And this was true for this particular seed. Now, that being said, yeah, this is a seed that would take me 3.5.
Yep. Yeah, this was a slow seed. It strung them along in a lot of ways. They hit so many times did they need one item, and was checking like the last possible location for said item. Oh man, they're not letting this go. Anyway, let's look at Cransoon's Ganon fight. He's doing it a little differently. He's not inside the ring of fire bats, and he's using the hook shot for the invincibility frames as they go in and out. And he's also just hitting Ganon way more than he needs to. Butter Sword means you only need 6 hits, but Cransoon going for the 12 plus that is required if you only have the Temperate Sword.
Yep, because there is no kill like overkill, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. That is absolutely right. Ganon is now doing the warps that we know are coming because this pattern is set. It's randomized, but it's the same across the seed. And that means we're probably going to see him also warp to these inconvenient corner locations where you can't really get the multiple hits with the silvers. Yep.
All right. So, that was a little frightening, but Cransoon manages to stay on the platform and takes down Ganon.
Final SRL time of 2:03:40, which is 3 minutes and 15 seconds back from Ben, which is about the gap that was between the two players for a good long portion of the race. Just kind of keeping pace.
Basically, all of that can be explained by the Tower of Hera mishap with Cransoon. That's basically about it.
So that is a big shame. But when you're in those situations, like it's easy to panic, and you're not really thinking clearly. And so, like to look at open the menu and stare at it and be like, "What can the boomerang work? No. Oh, the fire rod. Like maybe he would have got there, but it would have maybe taken time to figure that out." And sometimes the best situation is to just go do something else. Rather than waste time doing nothing, make sure you're being productive at all times. And so just save and quit, get out of there, go do something I know I can do.
All right. So, let's see if we can get some people to talk to us about this seed.
Oh, there he is. Ben, at least here in the waiting room, I've pulled him in. Ben, are you there?
Hey, yes, I'm here.
So
Ben,
what do you-
GG.
Yeah, well, first off, congrats. Absolutely.
Thanks. Thank you. That was pretty bad seed.
You're not wrong.
And I mean, it could have been so much faster. That's the scary thing.
Yeah,
Like,
the
doing all
lack
the
of
dungeons.
rupees.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, you went pretty much all the dungeons. Just a little bit left in Ice Palace, and you would have ticked them all off.
Actually, I've done everything in Ice Palace. I've got the 3 items, so I went away. But yeah, I had everything, so I was okay. It's not in a dungeon. Let's finish the other world, and like first or second location, it was there. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad because it could have been checked earlier by anyone. That's the thing.
Yeah, that mirror was pretty elusive. I mean, a lot of things were pretty hard to find.
Yeah. I mean, the mirror was giving the access to swamp and giving the bow, and then I was really not thinking much about it giving anything else. So I was thinking the bow would give the boots, but was not really the case. I couldn't read this at all. And even the start was really strange, having to grind rupees to get a moon pearl. I was thinking, did I forget something? Because I had a really weird start with no bombs. So I was like,
right.
did I forget something? I was a bit afraid when I was grinding my rupees and trying to think, did I forget something in Kakariko or early check? But in the end, no. I did check everything. It was just mean.
185 locations checked. That's one of the highest I've seen in the tournament so far.
So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Link to the Past Randomizer 100% tournament.
Yeah, I was missing the digging game. I went there first and I saw, oh, I have 69 rupees and it's 80.
Yep.
So yeah, I didn't see that at first. It was probably my next move because there I could check, at the end I could check 2 items. It was the ledge and the catfish. And then it was only digging game. So if the boots were there, it would have been really bad because it could have been checked so much earlier.
Had you already checked the Haunted Grove ledge there?
I did. Wait, I did not, I think. No, I did not.
Yeah, so that was another item that was available. We were wondering if that was going to happen.
It was 2 locations at the top and 2 at the bottom of Village of Outcast. Yeah.
It just happened to work out that you went to the
the
right one first.
We were guessing up here in the commentators booth, like there's a couple of things, but like they all start in the Kakariko Fluted 3, but then which way is he gonna go after?
Yeah, and then after finishing Eastern and Pod, I was like, it could be Pedestal, so I'm gonna check Pedestal first, so I know I can go mode Ice Palace, and if not, I'm just gonna check everything there. And it was not Pedestal, so I checked everything. It was really weird.
Yeah, Cransoon did the same move. A lot of the same moves, actually, you guys.
Oh,
I mean, the seed did kind of force a lot of the same things. But you guys were definitely on the same wavelength for most of the seed.
Hey, Cransoon, are you there?
Cransoon.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. GG, Ben.
Thank you,
Congrats.
thank you. GG also. Was pretty close in the end. I mean,
Yeah,
0.
definitely. I'm more than a little bit upset at my gameplay in Ganon's Tower. That was probably the worst Ganon's Tower I've played in like weeks. So
Yeah, Ganso was pretty rough.
One of the biggest differences in your routes came from a mistake from Cransoon in Tower of Hera. Talk to me about that.
Oh my god. Oh.
I know you maybe don't want to talk to me about that.
Yeah,
but I do.
I basically, I think I just hit both up and hookshot like at the same time, and instead of like, but I thought I hit them at the same time, but I must have hit up early because I just walked right into the pit when I was gonna hookshot over to the big chests and fell down, and the switch was flipped. And I didn't have a small key, and I didn't have anything to hit a switch, and I didn't have Mire, so I was soft locked in the first floor of Hera, so I had to save and quit.
So the thing is, we noticed you actually did have something you could hit it with, and you had just gotten it.
Really? What was that?
It was the fire rod.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
Yep. We could tell there was a moment of panic and like consideration.
Yeah, it was just the last thing I expected to happen in that situation.
Yeah, it's not something you generally consider like contingencies for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially in that situation, like when you've got the hook shot, like if you have only, like I usually skip the bomb jump if I don't have boots, because it's just too risky to go for. And then, lo and behold, I have like the quote-unquote safe way of doing it, and I just completely whiffed.
So that changed the routing quite a bit, because you left Tower of Hera early for one, and that meant you left Death Mountain half-checked.
That was so frustrating to me, because I had everything all planned out. When I got into Hera, I was like, okay, I'm going to do Hera, then I'm going to go down and do Spiral Cave, then I'm going to do East Death Mountain, yeah, because I had already done East Death Mountain, so I was then going to do Dark World East Death Mountain, check the medallion on Turtle Rock, and then maybe do Hookshot Cave, or Spike Cave, if I had like the ability to. So I was like, I had everything all planned out, and so when I fell down there, my entire route just got completely shattered. So I had to kind of improvise, and there was a good long while, like until I got into Mire, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I was completely winging it, like pretty much planning one or two items ahead because I was just so like flustered and confused.
Yeah, so that's another thing that came to mind was both of you guys did the fake powder glitch, which was very interesting, but then almost immediately later, you went to go to check the Mire area, and one of you didn't have any magic to use the Bombos medallion to get in.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me. That whole thing. And then I decided, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and gamble on Turtle Rock not being Ether, because hey, it's a 60% chance that I'm right. And then of course I was not right. So I walked all the way up Death Mountain, took the Turtle Rock portal, it was Ether, and then I had to like leave and go do other stuff.
So how about that Silver's location?
Yeah, I was
nice.
kind of kicking myself a little bit when I just mirrored out after getting Big Key, because I was like, one of those two could have been Silver's, and that could totally be the difference if you know, Ben hasn't done yet, like we could be very close, but yeah.
Yeah, I did check too. It was nothing. Nothing.
Also, that early game was the most ridiculous thing in my life.
It was very stupid.
It was.
Is this really V26? Really? I mean, like, where are all my 300 rupees at?
And not to mention, it was 10 minutes, I think, until I got my first progression item. Like, I think it was 10 minutes before I got anything that wasn't bombs. Yeah, and I don't even remember what it was.
You had like a tunic and 2 shields or something. Yeah, and then that was it.
Like 2 or 3 hearts, and then some money, but not enough to be worth anything.
Not enough.
All of all of Kakariko and all of Mini Moldorm and Dam and Ice Rod Cave, all of that was just garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the entire run, honestly, was super weird in terms of routing. Like, after Hera, I was kind of planning one item ahead, but, like, the beginning, I was kind of planning one item ahead, too. Like, you could tell by the fact that when I went towards Desert, I didn't farm rupees when I went there the first time, because I just didn't think, like, no, I've got Death Mountain, I've got, Desert Palace and everything to check. Like, there is no way that I'm not going to find a progression item or 200 more rupees by then. And lo and behold, I didn't. And then having to do escape with no sword or anything was really weird. And I went to a shop that I, like, never go to buy bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a great watch, for sure. And a tough seed. You guys stuck it out. If it pushes the players like you guys over the 2-hour mark, then that's how I know that was a tough seed, for sure.
Yeah. About 2 hours is not happening often.
Yeah. It's too bad, because it was a literal coin flip in my head of, like, should I go to Graveyard Ledge or should I do Ice Palace? It was like, I was so close, especially when I did the pedestal check. I was like, well, I'm in CAC anyway. Maybe I'll go do Graveyard Ledge Catfish and stuff like that, but
I've done the exact same. I went to check the pedestal, and I went for Ice Palace, and I got the 3 items, then I left, and I went for the ledge. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a very interesting seed and a very interesting race. So Ben, you moved to 3-1 now in the Swiss stage. Cransoon goes to 2-2. Both still, controlling your own destiny as far as getting to the groups go. Is there anything you're looking forward to or looking to avoid in the next round?
A better seed. It's fine against any opponent, but just a better seed. Because I didn't really enjoy it that much. Also, it was.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Was it just those kinds of seeds just aren't fun to play, regardless of the outcome.
You can have some trolley ones being really fun, but this one I was really feeling no fun playing it, which is weird. I was really playing and going to the direction kind of the game was telling me to go, and I was like, okay, I'm going there, I'm doing everything, and then I'm checking out auto location, and it was just I was feeling like I had nothing in my hands, like I couldn't do any decision. It's not the best seed to play. And yeah, I just wish I'm gonna get a better scene next time. The one against Christos felt kind of the same. It was really, I couldn't do much. Early game was the same. And yeah, it just really weird to play those kind of seeds. But it happens, so it's okay.
But it happens is maybe the motto for the randomizer. So.
Yeah, exactly.
It happens.
All right.
I think for me, the thing I'm looking to avoid is top 16 runners. Challenge, can you please stop?
Yeah, both of you guys have had some tough matches, even to get here, and I'm sure some tougher ones going forwards. We did mark both you guys have already beaten Andy in this tournament. Thought that was a fun coincidence.
Yeah. I mean, it's a free match, so it's fine.
Oh,
he
said it.
The shade. The
All right.
shade.
Well, we're getting punchy now, so I think it's time to cut the interview. Thanks so much for talking to us, for playing. Congratulations to Ben, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much for commentaries. I'm sure it was great. Even if I didn't really like the seed, I would rewatch it and listen to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely
thank you so much.
interested to rewatch this seed later today.
Yeah, if nothing else, it was entertaining to watch. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And hopefully we were entertaining to watch as well. I guess our players will find out in a bit. But that's going to be it for us on this channel. If you're a regular Rando watcher, we hope you enjoyed yet another edition to this tournament. If you're new, welcome. And this channel is done, but we are there's more randomizer matches happening on twitch.tv/speedgaming2 pretty much all day, and some more happening on this channel throughout the day. Not just yet, just a short break. So we're going to raid Speed Gaming 2.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe.
Head on over to Speed Gaming 2 if you want to see more rando. Let's throw out a few shout outs. So thank you to Feasel for doing these restreams for us. This is a man who puts forth a ridiculous amount of time and effort into making things that making these streams enjoyable for everybody, and he's quite a good guy, so we should appreciate him. Thank you to Duberson, who was our tracker today, keeping track of all those items on the screen so we don't have to.
Because we couldn't. Not while
Nope.
commentating. I've tried. It doesn't work out very well.
It's like walking and chewing gum at the same time. It's not possible.
Not possible.
Right. And thank you to you, Mythical9, for commentating with me. I hope you enjoyed it.
I absolutely enjoyed it. Thank you, Dr. Bob Tastic. And all the other tournament admins and players and viewers. This whole experience has been lovely. Oh, it touches my heart.
Make sure to give these runners a follow, and make sure to give Speed Gaming 2, all these Speed Gaming channels a follow if you want to get all the randomizer you can stand and then some. All the rando you can stando here on Speed Gaming.
Ba-dum-bum. All right, links to runners and commentators and everything in the chat. Follow those people. You can hang out here for 30 minutes if you really want. But you should go to Speed Gaming 2 and check in on the match that's happening there in progress. And
we've got another match coming on here, and then I think another one on Speed Gaming 3 in about
tonight.
an hour.
Yep. And there's actually something else happening on 3 right now, Pokemon Puzzle League. So if you're a fan of puzzle games, then screw everything we said and go over there to Speed Gaming 3.
Oh no, it's also going to be on Speed Gaming 2, the second race at 4:30. So that will be coming up shortly. So everybody who wants to watch Rando, we got Rando all day. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. This is Dr. Bob Tastic. I'll be signing off.
But there's no room for me to sign off now.
You can sign off as well.
All right. This is Mythical9, and I'm also signing off. Have a good day, everyone.